Okay. Well, what's up, everybody? Welcome. Good afternoon. Thank you for stopping by. Just trying to get set up. I just walked into the house a few minutes ago. These last streams have been like really close to after I pick up my daughter. So, but we're here. We're good. They're gonna have a press conference in 30 minutes. I need to figure out. I can't even remember where they've been doing these press conferences. If they're any of the mods, I see DLAN and Alexa so far right now. If they see where they've been doing it, you can let me know. This guy's been on the run for like, I don't know, like I think today's day 7 or 8. We were here last night for a bit. Let me check out Nick, because Nick's been having like all the updates on the story. Oh, and Fox 29 as well. Now it's kind of hitting me now. I hope you guys are doing good. Oh, Amy, thank you so much. Holy crap. 10 memberships. Wow. Mamma mia. I really appreciate all the love and support. And thank you to you for the PayPal help as well. By the way, completely unrelated. I keep seeing these things about mushroom coffee. So I ordered this mushroom coffee. Now, by the way, it's not tripping shrooms. You know, I'm not going to be taking coffee and tripping. It's like regular, actually healthy mushrooms. So I ordered it and it came this afternoon and I made a cup of coffee. It tastes just like coffee. I don't taste any mushroom in there. So I don't know. They say it's supposed to be good for you and invigorating and healthy. I mean, we'll see. Let's check this out in the meantime while I look for. Okay, so today's day 7. Let me show you the screen here real quick. I hope you guys are doing great. Don, what's up? Merp. TT Cross. I'm just calling out random names, so if I don't call you, don't feel, you know, my ADD can't read ass. Airdream, Melissa. What's up, Melissa? It's supposed to be good, man. I keep seeing those damn ads for this mushroom coffee and mushroom like pills. It's not the tripping one, you know, but they keep saying it's really, really good. And oh my God, I have all this energy and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right, I guess so. Let me see what all the hype is about. Okay, let's take a look at this brief update on Manhunt. See
the helicopter still circling right now.
Oh, by the way, do we have notifications or not?
All right, guys, I just have a quick update. I'm back in the area. I'm going to wait for a few more of you guys to come on before I say much, just so we don't have to do it twice.
We don't. Oh, we do. Okay, we do. I'll update the thumbnail once the press conference starts.
You guys can hear, there's a helicopter, as you can see, and I'll explain where I am in a minute and the relevance to this location.
We need a chase.
That is a...
Hey, Bliss, what's up?
It's a news helicopter or a police helicopter. If anybody has flight radar on, you guys can check.
Oh, maybe I should check flight radar.
We're on Pocopson and Britton's Bridge.
Oh, amazing.
You should see the helicopter any second. There it is, guys. That's ABC. Okay, cool. So, as I said earlier, I'm going to be running to the...
Thank you for the link. They have been covering the pressure live. Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Oops. I'll keep it on another window.
Press conference in a little bit, so I'm just here for about 5 minutes.
They have.
So here are some updates that I have for you guys from the past 20 minutes. So let me show you guys the helicopter heading this way. So from what I'm hearing, and this is from a law enforcement source, dogs track off of disturbed ground. The problem is there's so many people clearing areas looking for him that the dog can't get a track because all the officers are contaminating the area. Again, so I'm going to read that part again. So it looks like the canines cannot get a track because officers are contaminating the area. The only dogs that can track off of scent are bloodhounds. We put 30 trail cameras in the woods yesterday. That's from, again, I'm just reading from a law enforcement source. So yesterday they put 30 trail cams in the woods, and we are about to place 30 more. So the law enforcement source says this guy is not stupid by any means. He lived in the rainforest of Brazil his whole life. He was also a farmer, so he knows how to live off the land. So this
Oh yeah, because people were saying, they were trying to say something about like military forces and blah blah blah, which I could not find any confirmation about that. But so he's saying that this guy lived in the Brazilian forest, so he maybe it makes sense he has these survival skills. Also, when we were looking at the map last night, he's gone almost like in a circle. So according to Nick, he's saying that, like, I guess because of the circle thing, maybe the cops and all the cops searching in different areas. The only thing, like, I mean, I don't know how this thing works. I would just think that these dogs would have a fixed scent on this guy. I don't know if they could get some of his previous clothes or like some type of something from this guy. I cannot believe that this guy's evaded police as long as as he has within such a small area. Like, they've literally, it seems like, been on top of him. Who knows if they've walked past him? I wonder, is he doing something so that they can't pick up on his scent? PA woods aren't ish to him, right? Compared to the Brazilian jungle, yeah, it's probably a walk in the park. He's not sweating the heat. And there was one, somebody sent me an article last night that, like, one of the houses that I think he broke into, he made off with some fruits and stuff. So I guess he has something to eat out there, plus maybe whatever else he can scavenge out there. New asset deployed in search effort. This was an hour ago. Thank you, Merp. Thank you for sending me this. Let's see. So yeah, I'm gonna pull up a flight radar. Let me do that while we wait for this presser. Flight radar. Bro, this guy's been going for a while. Let's see. What's the most viewed? Let's take a look. No, that's not in here. It's like in another country. The hell is that? No, I don't see anything. I wonder if they left. Let's see. Oh, let me keep playing.
specific source has already hit over 70 hours of overtime in the last week, and he's pretty much been living in the woods. So at this point, there's not much word on
Someone said
a
Tiny
fresh
Tarzan.
track of the guy, but the canines are unable to pick up a scent because of the amount of officers in the area. So, as I just said, there were also 30...
Cheek said, remember the kids that survived the plane crash in the Amazon forest? They're built different, right? Yeah. Walkabout. Happy afternoon. Welcome, guys, man. Welcome. I didn't think I was going to come on, but why not for the pressure, right?
Trail cameras, hunting cameras put in the woods in the last 6 or 7 days. Now today they're putting 30 more just today. Wow. So they do believe he is still in the area, the vicinity, somewhat near the perimeter, if not in the perimeter, at least in the immediate outskirts. And you guys can see the news helicopter hovering low, and it could be that they're assisting law enforcement. Like I said before, that does happen from time to time where the news will come and help law enforcement with a search and provide their resources. So I did see earlier that a dispatch came through that the accused murderer the convicted murderer might have gotten into a dark green car headed toward Delaware. Now, I have a lot of residents texting me from Delaware that live near the border. They're on the lookout, and nothing is confirmed as of yet. We're not even sure if that's a confirmed sighting or any of that. But as I said, I'm going to go to the press conference, and I'm going to ask the police, the state police, about the miscommunication and the lack of communication with all of the agencies. Is there an established line of communication where all officers working this manhunt have access to? That's going to be my first question. And then I'm going to ask about a map that was found in his cell, a hand-drawn map leading from the prison to the courthouse. So that is a very interesting map, and it adds to the escape plan. Maybe he was avoiding going toward Westchester. And where we are right now, guys, we're in Pocopson.
Carly says Brazil isn't just the Amazon jungle. A lot of people from Brazil live in the big cities. Yeah, no, I know that, but he specifically said that this guy was living in the jungles of Brazil. That's what he said.
And Brenton's Bridge Road. I'll show you the intersection. And on our way here on Pocopson, about a mile behind us, there were 3 unmarked vehicles. I believe it could be federal agents, given the uniform or the vests. It was an unmarked Suburban with 2 pickup trucks, and they pulled off to the side of the road by the woods. And we just kept going to get to here because we have to go to the press conference in a little bit. But that was just a quick update, guys. Other than that, I have nothing else. I read you guys a little text from a law enforcement source about what they're doing and how they are expanding the search and using more cameras.
Okay, so day 7. Previous evening sightings. Cavalcante was caught on camera twice at Longwood Gardens around 10:33 p.m. Monday. The search perimeter has been expanded to include this area. Aerial search police helicopters have been circling sections of Brandywine River and creeks, presumably timing for Cavalcante could get if using these water bodies as a guide. One is currently there. Emotional plea around 4:30 p.m. yesterday. Helicopters played the emotional surrender message for Cavalcante's mother over Kendall Retirement Community, which this guy's probably not faced with that at all. Coordination challenges. Law enforcement at local, state, and federal levels are expressing frustration due to separate radio channels and the lack of familiarity among some of the officers. Really, clarity is needed for effective coordination. School and public space closures. Okay. Creek relevance. The areas of Cavalcante where Cavalcante has been sighted or believed to have been are connected by creeks, suggesting he may be using waterways as guides. However, this strategy appears to be keeping him in a zigzag pattern around the vicinity of the jail. Maybe he's traveling by water. Maybe he's the presser's in 15 minutes, 3 p.m. Eastern. Maybe he's using water to, I don't know, maneuver his way, maybe keep the scent off of him. Heading to the scene. I'll be heading there within the hour to provide a live update. Okay. Press conference at 3. Cavalcante. Choppers. All right, let me fix this thumbnail real quick. Convert this. Emily Baldwin says 1999 convicted killer Norman Johnson escaped around the same area for 19 days before being caught. Wow. Let me make this thumbnail. Boom. Just do this real quick. Okay. Boom, boom. If you guys could hit the like button too, I'd appreciate that. Let me do this here. Okay. Also, let me see if there's any live feeds yet. It's probably not going to be for a little bit. Tech 6 Philadelphia. Swin Dick says Portuguese boys are very fond of their mothers. Get mama to do it. Okay. Radio traffic, mapping areas. Okay, let me see if I can pull this up. I wonder if this is the chop. N875ST. Let's see. Let's see. No. All right, let's check out this video then in the meantime.
Possible clue in the manhunt for a convicted killer who escaped from prison. Authorities in Penn.
What are you guys thinking, man? How long do you think this chase is going to go on for? Oh, thank you, Carolyn. I really enjoyed your morning messages this morning. No problem. Thanks. Jimmy Hoffa. Yeah, I did a members video this morning. Maybe I'll try to be a little bit more active.
Pennsylvania.
How long this thing goes on? A couple more days? Needs to get caught today? 2 more weeks?
Reported new sightings of the fugitive, and the search area has now expanded. ABC's Morgan Norwood has those details.
This morning, the urgent manhunt for escaped murderer Danelo Cavalcante entering its 7th day. The search zone expanding in a Pennsylvania forest after new reports of footprints in the area. The possible clue just a few miles from where these trail cameras captured images of him in Longwood Gardens, a sprawling botanical attraction outside Philadelphia.
The photos confirm that Cavalcante has not changed his appearance, but also that he has obtained a backpack.
Police say Cavalcante slipped through a nearby perimeter, but believe he's still lurking nearby.
We realized within just a few hours where he was, and so he's not had a tremendous amount of time to move a long distance.
We're learning more about how Cavalcante may have broken out of the Chester County Prison. Officials have not said how, but the Philadelphia Inquirer reports that a source inside the prison says Cavalcante climbed onto the roof from the exercise yard, then ran across the roof.
This is the same shit that we were talking about last night. They were saying the roof.
And dropped down to a less secure area, fleeing the prison grounds from there. The source says this was nearly identical to how a previous prisoner escaped only months ago. State police and the district attorney's office declined to comment on that report, and the prison did not return our request for comment. Cavalcante was previously sentenced to life in prison for killing his girlfriend in front of her children. And with Cavalcante still on the run overnight, one nearby school district closed again today.
Everybody's like a little bit nervous, I guess.
The district attorney and state police have now opened investigations into the escape.
All right, so this thing's coming up soon. This is the thing I want to show you guys too. It will take an alert neighbor. Former FBI agents break down manhunt for killer Danelo Cavalcante. Let me do this on another one. Boom, boom. So many tabs open.
Manhunt continues in Chester County. It's been since last Thursday, Alex.
That's right. His escape from a Chester County prison nearly a week ago has had neighbors concerned and fear, and has led to several schools and businesses closing. His most recent sighting was late Monday night at Longwood Gardens. And you see these are photos from it.
Yeah, I think there were some footprints found yesterday as well. So there's been more things happening since Monday, this being Wednesday morning. So let's bring in our guest now. Scott Duffy is here. FBI, retired.
Yes.
Good to have you here.
Good morning.
I don't know. People are getting impatient. Why is it taking this long?
Yeah, so imagine the terrain. There's a lot of law enforcement, but imagine how big these properties are. It's a pretty rural area. You have trees, you have shacks and sheds and thicket and high grass. And for somebody to lay low, somebody could easily pass, be within a few feet of him.
Yeah, and then especially his height. You could blend in. I'm surprised that the dogs are having a hard time.
If it's not a grid search, and this is not a grid search.
We were thinking too, at night, sometimes they'll put up a helicopter with those, thermal imaging, and you see the body temperature of the person, in the trees. Why can't they do that?
So technology is great, but we've been in a heat wave the last couple of days. So you have, what are these designed to do? To pick up heat temperatures of whether it be an animal or a human being and send a team. But if you have all this heat coming off the ground, you're high up in the sky, you're looking at red. And so thereby something that might easily be picked out at a 50, 60 degree day, 70 degrees.
Interesting.
With cool ground. Now you have all that heat coming up and it kind of affects.
Didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I've been wondering for a while why can't they just pick them up with the choppers. What's up, everybody? Welcome. Thanks for stopping by, man. If you could hit the like button. Latonia, thank you so much for the stars on Facebook.
Something to think about. And this is interesting because in this area, they've had a similar situation happen, but this was back in 1999. So a lot of people are thinking about the manhunt that was going on then.
Oh.
When convicted killer Norman Johnston escaped prison, he was on the run for 19 days.
19 days.
And here's how we covered it back then.
Is there any sound on this? If not,
damn, look at this guy.
Okay. So,
bro, his eyes are like bulging. Kind of like, the heck? Who's
you
this?
know this one, don't you know this?
Yes, that is something to think about. And this is interesting because in this area, they've had a similar situation happen, but this was back in 1999. So a lot of people are
I think it's the person that in the chat just mentioned.
thinking about the manhunt that was going on then.
Oh.
When convicted killer Norman Johnston
Oh, yeah, Norman Johnson. They just said that,
escaped prison, he was on the run for 19 days.
19 days.
And here's how we covered it back then.
Damn.
Is there any sound on this? If not, I'll talk. Okay.
Yeah,
So, you know this one, don't you know this case, don't you?
I was there.
You were there in 1999. Oh, there he is, Norman Johnston. He had a whole family of,
Looked like a zombie.
bad people, didn't he?
Yes, Norman Johnston.
does,
A movie was made
Damn.
about the family and the killings and just his criminal organization. It was an amazing time to be a part of.
Was it the same area we're talking about?
Yeah, same area. So I was at Longwood Gardens. And this was a wider search because Norman had stolen a car, and of course he was locked up back in the 70s. So when he would try to steal a car, a modern day car, he didn't know how to operate it. So he was looking for an 80s or older model car, which he was used to stealing. And so, there's far few of those cars to be able to steal, but he was bouncing between Delaware and Pennsylvania. So the search was a little bit wider.
But kind of the same darn area. So,
And eventually he was found underneath someone's home?
Yeah, so ultimately what it comes down to is a very alert neighbor, resident. Here's some rustling out back. It is late at night. I'm about 3 miles from the location as one of the search teams. And then the call comes out that we got him. And Norm came out after a very tired, very long couple of weeks without any incident.
Oh, really?
No fight.
He says, I've had it. But again, we're only 6-7 days in on this one. Mm-hmm. That one went almost 3 weeks.
Correct.
What's going to end up happening here, do you think? How are they going to get him?
Law enforcement is doing exactly what and the same departments, the same agencies are involved, so they know how to come across and try to find. They're narrowing their search, and of course, Danelo is moving, I believe, south, and so the perimeter is tightening. Mm-hmm. It is also changing as well as it should, but it's going to take an alert
Well,
neighbor.
they're still optimistic because he is being seen.
And that's what you're saying, the alert neighbors looking through your Ring cameras, noticing if like, hearing a rustling.
Definitely very alert, locking doors, making sure that going out during the day to make sure that your sheds are locked. If you were to wake up in the morning and you see the door open, that should be a sign. Do not even go close to it. Call 911. Let law enforcement.
It's just fascinating to go back to all these years to 1999. The same area. We're talking about in kind of the same manhunt situation. And so I'm fascinated by the footage from 1999. And we do have a little soundbite. I want to hear this.
In fact, Johnston told police 2 of the older vehicles he stole during his long run from the law broke down. He made it clear he tried repeatedly to leave the Chester County area, but said heavy publicity made it tough for Johnston to travel. Each time he was spotted, he said he was forced back into hiding.
Do we see you anywhere in there, Scott?
No, so this would be the following day. I think I was sleeping during this time because he was caught late the night before. And so after many hours, 19 days, it was 24/7 operation, which very much like today.
He's still alive, I think. I think he's still in prison.
I haven't heard anything different.
And you heard Bruce Gordon say that publicity was key because he had to,
publicity, keeping the media on this so that way people don't become complacent and they're constantly alert, whether coming, going to work, school, or whatever, just in a walk.
Fascinating. It's good to see you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Thanks for coming in.
Okay, that's the FBI. Oh.
Let's fire. What streets are we talking about?
So the ex-girlfriend that he killed in 2021, and by the way, we're just waiting for the press conference to start. I saw somebody say something about cover the updates we did last night, the last location and everything. We're just waiting for the presser. It says here, the prisoner who is now the subject of a massive manhunt after escaping from a Pennsylvania prison last week had killed his ex-girlfriend in a brutal 2021 stabbing in front of his 2 young children. Danelo Cavalcante, a 34-year-old who was convicted just last month. Okay. So the kids were 7 and 4 years old at the time, and they ran to neighbors asking for help. The 7-year-old told police that when Cavalcante began stabbing Brandeo, he said he was going to kill her. Court records show he was arrested several hours in Virginia. Authorities believe he was trying to flee to Mexico with the intention of later heading to Brazil. A neighbor attempted life-saving procedures on Brandeo while they waited for emergency medical services to arrive, but she was pronounced dead at the hospital. She was 33. After the stabbing, Brandeo's 7-year-old daughter told police Cavalcante showed up at their house and said he was going to do something bad to their lives and pulled 2 knives out of a black bag that was behind his back. The daughter said she was screaming and Cavalcante threw a rock at her, hitting her leg. Police wrote an affidavit. After running to the neighbor for help, the girl looked outside and saw Cavalcante leave in a black car. Brandeo's sister Sarah said the 2 were best friends and that when she learned about Deborah's murder, her world ended. Let me just check here again for press conference. Okay, we got one here. All right, we got one feed, so let me just put this up on the screen. And I'll keep an eye out for anything else. Let's see. Okay. All right, that's it for now. So back to this whole murder thing and the kids. Sarah told CNN Cavalcante went from being a friendly neighbor to a jealous boyfriend. Cavalcante and Deborah were both Brazilian and dated for about 1.5 years. Deborah told her sister he was nice to her. He was nice to her children, that he helped her, but things changed over time. She kept saying that he was extremely jealous, that when he drank, he became a different person, that he kept going through her cell phone. Brandeo had filed a protection from abuse order against Cavalcante in December 2020. According to the probable cause affidavit, the order alleges that he had history of assaulting Brandeo and previously pulled a knife on her. Let's see. Miss Brandeo's children are now left motherless, and she will never have the opportunity to watch her children grow up, finish school, or have their families of their own. Okay, and on August 16, so he was just convicted. August 16, 2023, Cavalcante was convicted of first-degree murder and possessing an instrument of crime in the killing, according to the district attorney's office. Just days later, he was sentenced to life in prison. Attorneys for Cavalcante told jurors during the trial that he was provoked and snapped when he attacked Brandeo and said he acted in the heat of passion. Okay. Did I have lunch? Kind of, not really. I haven't even eaten anything today. I just ate just a bit ago, but I took 2 bites of this healthy keto pizza that I made. I just took 2 bites, that was it. But I haven't eaten anything today because I was planning on fasting for the most part until I get hungry. All right, let me see. Nick, is he live? He was live, but he ended it. Let's see. Yeah, he ended it. Let's see. Okay, because it's 3 o'clock now. Okay, here we go.
Of the manhunt for Cavalcante, I'll provide
Okay.
My name is Lieutenant Colonel George Bivens, Deputy Commissioner of Operations for the Pennsylvania State Police. Joining me today is District Attorney Deb Ryan, Chief County Detective David Sassa, Rob Clark from the U.S. Marshal's Office, Chester County Commissioner and Prison Board President Josh Maxwell, and Acting Chester County Prison Warden Howard Holland. As you know, on the morning of Thursday, August 31st, Danelo Cavalcante escaped from the Chester County Prison. In a few minutes, I'll provide an update on where we stand with the status of the manhunt for Cavalcante. But first, I know you all and the public have had a number of questions about the actual escape made by Cavalcante. I'm going to turn this over to Acting Warden Holland to talk about that. I'd ask that following his remarks, you hold any questions until the end of our briefing, and we will be happy to take questions at that time.
Thanks, sir. I just want to ensure that we know the gravity of the situation and how it's impacted our community negatively. Moreover, to the victims of this individual, I want to make sure that they know that we are consistently and consciously thinking of what they're going through and give out the fact that they continually are on our thoughts and prayers to make sure we bring Mr. Cavalcante to justice. So good afternoon. I am Howard Holland, the Acting Warden of the Chester County Prison. I'm here today to provide preliminary details of the escape of Danelo Cavalcante. Let me begin by addressing the escape of Igor Bolt, which the media has been reporting on. Igor Bolt, which escaped on May 19th of this year. This escape was similar to the methodology of the escape by Cavalcante, and the escape by Igor Bolt allowed the prison to identify a deficiency in the exterior exercise yard where the escape occurred. This is also the same area, the escape yard, where Cavalcante was located prior to his escape. The exercise yard improvements undertaken after Bolt's escape were intended to address the escape route from the yard to the roof area. Security consultants were brought in, and improvements were based on the consultant's findings by a contracted security service. The improvement consisted of additional razor wire being placed in the yard area at the wall where the escape occurred to block access to the roof. The escape of Cavalcante is not just being internally investigated. Because it is in criminal nature, it is also being investigated by the State Attorney General's office. The video of Cavalcante's escape has been turned over to the criminal investigators. I will review the exact timeline and show a video of Cavalcante's escape from the exercise yard at the end of my remarks.
Ooh.
But can confirm that it does show that Cavalcante escaped at the same location as Igor Bolt, but for Cavalcante, there was razor wire to contend with before reaching the roof. Secondly, Chester County Prison uses proven countermeasure security that are an industry standard. For example, high fencing, razor or barbed wire, secure doors or gates with sally ports to control movement, video cameras, and most importantly, correctional officers, all of which were in place and remain in place. One of the issues brought to light as we conduct our internal investigations on Cavalcante's escape is that once the additional razor wire had been added to the escape route, following Igor Bolt's escape in May, it was determined by our security advisors that this one level of security was sufficient. In fact, what was perhaps overlooked was the fact that addressing the single point of physical countermeasure should have been bolstered by additional means. We are addressing that. On Tuesday afternoon, yesterday, we had engineers from Trans Systems, a company which was selected by Lancaster County to design their new prison, brought on site. They are developing proposals for the prison board to fully enclose all outside exercise yards. While we believe the security measures we had in place were sufficient, they've proven otherwise, and we move quickly to enhance our security measures. Finally, I'd like to cover the human element of the escape. One key difference in the escape by Igor Bolt as compared with the escape of Cavalcante is the role of the tower officer, whose primary responsibility is to oversee the inmates in the exercise yard. In Bolt's escape, the tower officer observed the subject leaving the yard area and contacted control immediately. That is why Bolt was apprehended within 5 minutes. In the escape of Cavalcante, the tower officer did not observe nor report the escape. The escape was discovered as part of the inmate counts that occurs when inmates come in from the exercise yard. As I previously noted, the Pennsylvania Attorney General's office will be conducting a thorough criminal investigation into the escape. which includes this element of the incident. This investigation is both necessary and welcome. The action of the tower officer present at the time of Cavalcante's escape are a key part of our internal investigation, and we'll be taking appropriate action against personnel based on the results of that investigation. Here is the timeline of the events. At 8:33 a.m., Cavalcante's block entered the exercise yard. At 8:51 a.m., Cavalcante escapes from the prison, having crab walked up a wall, push his way through a razor wire, run across a roof, scale another fence, and push his way through more razor wire. At 9:35 a.m., Cavalcante's block returned to the unit from the yard. At 9:45 a.m., officers on Cavalcante's block notify Central Control of a missing inmate, and they conduct a special count. At 9:48 a.m., officers informed Central Control that Cavalcante was not there. There was a belief that he may have been in a phone visiting room, which was checked with negative results. At 9:50 a.m., the prison was locked down and the special count was conducted. By 10:01 a.m., the public escape siren had sounded and the 911 center had been notified. Just as we do in any security-related incident, we will thoroughly review all of our practices, policies, and procedures and make improvements as appropriate. We are currently formulating plans to enhance security to include, as previously mentioned, fully enclosing all outside exercise yards, installing additional security cameras, adjusting officers' positions when inmates are in exercise yards, and additional security assets which would enhance overall security of the prison. As I close, I would definitely like to thank my local, federal, state, and law enforcement representatives who quickly responded to the scene once the escape was there. I know they have been diligently working to take Mr. Cavalcante back into custody, and we are very appreciative of their efforts. At this time, due to the nature of the investigations that are ongoing, I cannot comment on any individual investigation, including the internal investigations. With that, I'd like to turn it over back to Colonel Bivens. So, I'm not sure where...
Yeah, the video recording.
Cool. Damn, look at this sneaky ass. No way. Oh, hell nah. What the hell? Y'all see this shit? Spider-Man. Yo, he did that shit so sly. The camera's right there. He just backwards walked up the shit.
Thank you, Warden Holland. I'll go on with my update, and again, we'll come back to questions momentarily. Last evening, we had another sighting of Cavalcante by a resident in the area of Chandler Road, Pennsbury Township. Teams searched the area for hours, but were unable to locate him. An issue we did experience during that search illustrates some of the challenges our people are dealing with. In spite of precautions, one of our tactical search dogs suffered a heat-related and emergency and remains hospitalized today.
Damn.
We are hopeful that he will eventually make a full recovery. As a result of that reported sighting, residents likely observed a significant increase in police activity. We did have a reverse 911 message sent out during the incident in an effort to inform residents of the issue. Additionally, as a result of that activity, we slightly expanded the eastern edge of our perimeter to include Creek Road. The district attorney and I have continued a regular dialogue with school districts in the area, updating them with changes in our operations that might impact schools. As this operation unfolded late last night, the Unionville, Chadds Ford, and Kennett Consolidated School Districts made a decision to close schools. We continue to use hundreds of state, local, and federal law enforcement officers, canines, aviation assets, and various types of technology in an effort to keep the community safe and to bring this to as swift of a conclusion as possible. Excuse me. We continue to increase the number of personnel assigned as conditions dictate. Residents can expect to continue to see large numbers of law enforcement officers in their communities and traveling to and from assigned locations. We continue to ask for the public's help by familiarizing themselves with the photograph and description of Cavalcante, to check security cameras they have, and to call us immediately if they believe they may have seen Cavalcante. Again, we ask residents to please secure homes, outbuildings, and vehicles. Cavalcante has clearly already obtained some clothing and unknown other supplies, and we want to minimize any opportunity to obtain anything more. It is important that we keep pressure on him as we continue the hunt. I am also announcing that Pennsylvania Crime Stoppers has offered up to a $10,000 reward for information leading to the capture of Cavalcante. This brings the reward total to $20,000. Anyone with information is asked to call our tip line at 717-562-2987, 717-562-2987. Lastly, I want to recognize and thank the community for all of their support through this trying time in their lives. I and all of us working this manhunt understand the tremendous stress this puts on families and even businesses. In spite of that stress, and unsolicited, we have had individuals, businesses, scouting, church, and other organizations show up at our command post with cases of water, food, and well wishes for all of our people. They are very kind, and I can't thank them enough for their support. And now we will be happy to take any questions that you may have.
Lieutenant Colonel, do you think he has more ability to hide from you than you thought he did when this thing started, since it's 7 days now?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he has any more ability than we initially gave him credit for. I think that it's a very challenging area. I think we've had a number of these types of searches in the past. Some take hours, some take days, some take weeks, and some take months.
It's 2 miles.
We're committed to the search, and we will find him.
He's going in circles.
Bring him back and into the criminal justice system.
For the DA or the acting warden, you guys have had access to this video. You saw this. Why did it take so long to alert the public of how he escaped?
Yeah.
You said it's for the warden?
DA or the acting warden?
Well, I can address that. That matter was referred to the Attorney General's office immediately. We are engaged in a thorough investigation. As I've stated before, our main focus is bringing this man to custody. We were putting all of our efforts to try to locate him. There was a simultaneous investigation into the prison escape, and today was the day that we believed we needed to bring in the acting warden to address the public about how he escaped.
But you knew ahead of time, you still didn't want to release that information to the public.
Is the Attorney General's investigation supplanting the Chester County District Detective's investigation?
That's correct.
How is it possible that this person was able to take the same escape route as someone previous, and really nothing was done to prevent that? Obviously, someone didn't do their job.
Oh, let's go!
So as I said earlier, according to the document, we did have a consulting firm come out, identify how that individual escaped, and we thought we took appropriate measures to prevent that with the razor wire. Again, the one thing we didn't take into account was a failure on the human element side. We only focused on the physical infrastructure and not necessarily the human element.
So was there no
did the guard fail?
Was there nobody in the tower? Was there no one in the tower? Is that why you didn't get the call, or was he asleep?
Someone was in the tower at the time.
Was he sleeping? You didn't answer.
The person in the tower have seen him leave.
The position of the towers are for observation posts, which overlook the yards.
Oh, he's pissed.
Just 1 minute.
They hired a consultation service?
And marshals, that you guys have multiple channels. Last night I witnessed this. There was an officer from Kennett Square. There was activity. That officer didn't hear anything. He asked the trooper what's going on. They said we're on a different channel. He was left in the dark, and I'm hearing now from, it was at least 12 officers in the past 6 days that told me they are not able to communicate in concert with you guys. Are there multiple channels that you guys are operating?
No, I would have to look into that specific concern, and I'd be happy to do that. Maybe we can talk afterward, and you can supply me a name that we can look into it. What I would tell you is that we've spent a lot of time and effort making sure that we do have solid communications. We've got a lot of agencies working there. Most have representation in our command post, and we would know immediately if we had a communication issue. So if there is something that's isolated to a certain agency or something, we'd certainly want to take a look at that, but that's not a widespread concern.
Has he obtained a weapon, and if so, what kind of weapon do you think he has?
We have not determined that he has obtained a weapon.
When was the consultant brought in, and what was the name of the consultant again?
Yeah, because we're going to research.
I don't have the exact date nor name of the consulting firm.
But you are the consulting firm.
Because
Lieutenant Colonel Gibbs, is any infrared or heat-seeking device used to track him, at least at night?
There are a number of types of technology. I think it's certainly reasonable to believe something like that would be included in the array of technology that we would bring to bear.
Hold on. In the Igor Bolt case, the inmates were distracting the guard. There was a fight on the basketball court, is what the criminal complaint said. In this case, too, we had heard that there was also some sort of group of inmates or a line of inmates on that yard. Is that obstructing, or is it just that the inmates also figured out how to do this as well? So what is being taken to address that concern that you have an inmate standing there in that video? Is that guy a lookout? Are they all talking about how to do this? What are you doing there on the human side with the inmates to make sure nobody tries this again?
So as I said, for the investigation of how or why this occurred, including the investigation and questioning of the inmates that were there, that's done by the Attorney General's office. So I don't have the exact answer. Moreover, as we develop information into this, we are certainly going to look at what the actions of that tower officer were, why he didn't observe what was occurring in that yard. I'm not sure as to how or why. He didn't address it at this point.
Why not share that video early on if you knew how he escaped? That's the question that everyone had.
Again, as part of the investigation.
Can you step up a little bit?
Certainly. I'm sorry.
Shit, yeah.
As part of the investigation, that would have been up to the Attorney General's office to release that and when it was to be released. At this point, we thought it was prudent and had permission to release it.
Is the tower officer suspended? Is he still working?
He is on administrative leave.
This is for the district attorney or the warden. Can you confirm or deny that the escapee had a map of the area that was hand-drawn detailing the route from the prison to the Chester County Courthouse? Is that anything or is that a rumor?
No, I have no evidence to suggest they did a map of the area.
How about the warden? Have you heard anything?
I did not.
This individual was listed as an escape risk. This was known that he was looking to do something like this prior. Why was he, and also, he's here on a murder charge, he's being held here waiting for to be sent to state prison. He knows he's wanted in Brazil. Why is he roaming around the yard like this and not in a more secure location? And is that something you'll do as the administrator of the prison later, is to reevaluate how high-risk offenders have free access around the prison?
So to answer your question, we will certainly reevaluate how we're handling inmates of that level, especially murder suspects. But we also have to understand that these individuals have certain rights. So it's not a question of would we let him out again. It's certainly a question of would I put him back out there with a group of other individuals, or there would be a one-on-one, and it would be a one-on-one from this point out.
Do you believe the Brandywine Creek is a possible escape route? Do you believe the Brandywine Creek is a possible escape route? Officers are monitoring it on Route 1.
I would say that we are open to anything being a possibility as far as an escape route, and we're actively working to keep that area secure. I wouldn't comment on the viability of one versus another escape route.
Do you think he's out of your perimeter?
I do not.
He's flipped your perimeter?
I do not.
What makes you believe that?
Everything that I'm able to see, the various sightings that we've had, other aspects of this investigation lead me to believe that he is still there in that area. Sure. So on the northern end, Route 921, on the east.
921 or 926?
I'm sorry, 926.
Man, they checking them too. Oh shit.
On the eastern side, 100 or Creek Road. On the southern side, Hillendale. And on the western side, 52.
How big is this compared to what your perimeter was in days past?
What's the square mileage of roughly?
Offhand, I don't know what the square mileage is. It is slightly larger than the perimeter that we had in the past. Quite frankly, it was enlarged for two reasons. One, because of one of the sightings, and two, because we are also very cognizant of inconveniencing the public. Quite frankly, we probably could have kept that southern perimeter a little further north, but we probably would have interfered with traffic on Route 1 and would have caused even more headaches for local residents and those passing through as well. And so we took the option that we believe is equally secure and yet doesn't inconvenience residents nearly as much.
Cavalcante was in custody since 2021. He would have been in jail at the same time as Igor Bolt. Is there any indication that the two of them had any contact?
We have no information at this time connecting that, but again, that is not up for me to determine. It's up for the Attorney General's office and the investigation.
And was it chosen to share this information today? Had the similarities between Igor Bolt's release not been made public?
I'm sorry, one more time?
would you have chosen to share the details of Cavalcante's escape and the similarities to Igor's had the information not come to light yesterday?
So I don't really think it's a decision of me releasing. I think it was appropriate with the coordination of the Attorney General's office to release it when they deemed appropriate. So that's why we're here.
Lieutenant Colonel, is lethal force authorized only in the perimeter, or is it authorized statewide in the next state if he does not surrender clearly to?
I have no authority in the next state. I have authority in Pennsylvania with the Pennsylvania State Police.
Is it statewide lethal force to be seen anywhere in the state, or is it around?
No, the directive pertains to this particular search.
And the backpack, or the sighting today that was reported, I believe, by approximately 9, where he might have been getting into a dark green car, did that come to any fruition, or is that?
I'm sorry, I missed the first part of your question.
There was a dispatch this morning that said that an individual with a backpack matched the description of the escapee got into a dark green car.
No, that was not related to this.
Warden Holland, is the photo of Mr. Cavalcante that we see here, was that taken just before the escape?
I believe it was, yes, sir.
Are you getting a lot of sightings throughout the region outside the perimeter? Other parts of Chester County, other counties where people are thinking that they're seeing him? And what kind of stress does that put on your resources?
We are not getting a lot of sightings outside of the perimeter. In fact, very few. They are being fully investigated. Nothing has led me to believe that any of them were actually him. And we have the ability to do this operation and follow up outside of the area as well.
Any idea where he thinks he might be trying to get to?
I do have some ideas of where he thinks he might be trying to get to, but I'm not prepared to discuss that.
Last week that he's trying to head south. You said last week you think he's trying to head south, maybe to Mexico or Brazil. Do you still believe that?
I believe he's trying to head south. In terms of his final destination, again, I'm not prepared to discuss
Are
that.
family members cooperating, or has it been determined that they may have aided?
We're not going to discuss any parts of the investigation involving the family.
I just wanted to ask about if you can get back to the escape. Could you give an approximate width from one wall to the next?
So I would say approximately maybe 5 feet, maybe less.
Acting Warden, you said that you're looking to fully enclose the yard.
Yes, sir.
What does that mean that there's not a fence around it already? Can you explain?
So the yards are block wall with an exterior fence with an open top. Along that line are razor wires so someone physically can't climb the fence. Moreover, there's a smaller mesh fence on the second half, so the fence is probably 10 to 15 feet high. What the proposal is actually to cap that whole thing in basically like as a cage so no one can physically climb out.
All the way from the fence to the building?
All the way to, and all 8 yards that we have.
You reviewing any other video that shows him practicing this? I mean, did he just boldly do this on a whim, figuring out that he could go up this wall?
So we have no supportive evidence as far as video that shows him trying to do this, no other inference of him attempting it from any other inmate.
Which yard is this? Is this yard A, yard B, yard C? You said 8 yards.
So this is C yard.
You talked about the control tower and there being a guard in there that did not observe the escape. Is there any corrections officer that is physically present with the inmates when they're in that recreation area? And if not, why not?
So there's physically no correctional officer in with the inmates. For the observation tower, it's to observe the inmates, one, obviously, for any type of injury, any type of fight that's gone away, and any escape attempt.
Why wouldn't there be someone just outside there, if not inside?
So typically, the other thing we have is a video monitor in that area. So we don't put 2 staff in there. As part of the upgraded system that we're putting in, we are putting additional personnel, not only in the tower, but on the ground to observe anybody in the yard.
Assistant Warden, was nobody monitoring this camera that you showed us that had the video of him crowd walking up?
So we have approximately 160 cameras at any one time that's monitored all over the facility, also inside to control door movements to see who's coming and going. So with the time it took him to go up, and we all saw the video, it wasn't very long. So in that instance, if it wasn't observed and the camera didn't pick it up because either we weren't focused on that or we were focused on other things, it's feasible that, we didn't see it because we just weren't focused on it.
Do you have a full complement of corrections officers working on the day of the escape, or were there posts that were vacant?
There were no posts that were vacant that day.
Lieutenant Colonel, you've said that you think he's heading south, Lieutenant Colonel, but you've also said you do have an idea where you think he's heading, but you won't tell us that. But you do believe he's heading south. So you believe that he has more specific goals in mind that are closer to this location that he might be heading
Yes,
to?
my reference to heading south is more so in our area that we're searching. What his final destination and the pathway to get there, I have some ideas, but again, I'm not prepared to share those at this point.
But is he going east? I mean, he went from Longwood Gardens now to Chandler Road. That's east, not south.
Yes.
So why do you think he's going south?
Again, I'm not going to theorize or share theories in here, but yes, there was one sighting east.
Can you tell us more about the sighting? What was he doing? What did it look like?
And who spotted?
It was a resident of the area that observed him in a creek bed near the rear of their property and called us. He was already traveling into the woods when that individual called us.
Does he have family or friends in this area?
He has some family and some associates in the general area.
How do you think they indicate?
Again, I'm not going to.
Do you believe he's lost?
I guess we'll know that when we find him and interview him for sure. I do suspect he's probably having trouble navigating.
Have you discovered any items he may have used?
We have not recovered anything from him out in the field. We have discovered through the photograph that you saw that he has a backpack, a duffel bag, and a hoodie, but we have not recovered any of those items.
There were items found yesterday by some troopers. Any relation to him or anybody else that was out there? A wallet, a phone, anything like that?
Items that have been recovered are being tested, but I don't have anything to confirm that any item we have discovered.
Can you tell us what the search actually looks like? Are you literally beating bushes? Is it mostly electronic? Is it driving? Are you putting up cameras? What does this look like?
Well, again, I'm not going to describe every step of it because in the event that he does have access to media, I certainly wouldn't want to disclose all of that. I would tell you it's some of all of the above. It is a very intensive search involving hundreds of law enforcement officers, involving state-of-the-art technology, but we are not sitting in a room someplace waiting for technology to solve this. In my experience, it'll be solved one of a number of ways, and so you've got to approach it with the physical searches. And so when I mentioned about the dog going down last night, that's because our people are out there, hundreds of them last night, pushing through the woods, holding perimeters, checking on possible sightings. But it's very hot, humid weather, and they're working in that around the clock in order to keep the pressure on. That's part of that side of it. At the same time, there's a strong use of technology of a variety of types to allow us to try and capture him that way, should we not be successful in finding him through the physical search.
The canine officer, what department is the canine officer from?
State Police.
When you play his mother's message, what does it say?
I'm paraphrasing, but it's asking him to surrender. She doesn't want to see any harm come to him, and she wants him to come out peacefully and surrender to the police.
Is it always the same message?
Yes.
Residents are
No. We don't have her approval to do that.
Residents are wondering, at any point, will you slow down or back off of the manhunt? Whether it's 3 weeks, 4 weeks, will you keep a large presence, an active manhunt with the manpower you have until he's captured?
We are not going anyplace until we have him in custody. We will continue the
There's
manhunt.
a festival planned this weekend in Kennett Square. Are you in conversations with organizers in case he's not caught by them?
Yes, we are aware of that. We're in contact with emergency management, law enforcement authorities to make sure that we don't have any additional concerns there. And at this point, there's no reason to believe that that festival would be impacted by this search.
Is there any indication that he's had a phone or any communication device has or had at any point during this?
I'm not prepared to discuss that aspect at this
Question
point.
for the Warden, please.
Did Cavalcante have any sort of disciplinary record, any infractions that you can share with us while an inmate at the prison?
To be honest with you, not that I'm aware of. Like as I walked into this thing 18 hours onto the job, I haven't gathered all his back history. I had a deputy warden put that all together and get it ready for the detectives to look at.
Was he living legally here, and was he working before he killed his ex-girlfriend?
He was not legally here, and I can't answer the working part.
Lieutenant Colonel, you think you're wearing him down in any way? There is at least this conversation out there that because he sort of emanated from Brazil, that maybe he is comfortable in hot settings, that he's comfortable in this kind of environment. Do you have any sense you're wearing him down? He seems like he's pretty elusive here.
I'm quite confident that we're wearing him down, regardless of the location, the background that a person comes from. These are hot, humid temperatures. He's not living in shelter, has no regular means of obtaining food other than if he's able to break in someplace or find something, scavenge something. So it's a difficult existence out there for somebody that's trying to do this. That will definitely take its toll. I would also add that it's hard enough, as one of the law enforcement officers out there, it's hard enough for them navigating in this terrain in this hot, humid weather. But imagine if you're being hunted. It adds a whole different level of stress as opposed to you're out there trying to find somebody. That level of stress has to be wearing on him.
Have you searched local railroads, railroad tracks, trains passing through? There's some video that indicates you have been doing that. If so, what does that yield? Anything?
It has not, but what we are attempting to do again is keep that secure perimeter and ensure that he does not have an opportunity to escape on a train.
Given the condition of the canine, does he face charges in connection to the...
No, there was no mishandling of the dog. They were monitoring the dog's temperature and they realized it started to elevate. Unfortunately, and they sought medical treatment for the dog immediately. Unfortunately, the dog's condition continued to worsen even with medical treatment until he was eventually stabilized and now I'm told is doing somewhat better. We'll have to wait and see what the final outcome is.
How many reports of thefts or break-ins you've had since the escape?
We have had a number. I'm not going to put a number on it, but a small number of break-ins reported. I cannot specifically attribute any of those to him.
Does Cavalcante have any history of survivalism, or do you know that he has any specific skills related to his current status?
He's not had any formal training. I am aware that, again, coming from Brazil, that some of his practices, he did go out quite a bit into the woods and things down there. So has some experience navigating and lasting in the woods, but not any serious formal training.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like since the escape, there's been several sightings. Out of all the hundreds of officers that you have out there working for him now, he's only been spotted by a law enforcement officer one time he was seen and the officer gave chase. Is that accurate?
I would have to go back and review it. That's probably accurate. I off the top of my head, I'm not. I'd have to look at each one of the sightings, but I believe that's probably accurate.
Apologies if this was asked already, but is there any indication he's receiving help from anyone?
Again, as part of the investigation, we're not going to disclose that, but that is something that we are constantly looking at. Even if he hadn't received it to this point, there's always a concern that he will start to receive it. And so that's something we're constantly looking at.
I know you said the search perimeter in terms of roads. I'm just not familiar with the township lines. Do we think that that's Bradford or is Brandywine there? Is that all encompassed in that township area, or is it all crossing township?
No, it's moved over into, is that Pennsbury? Yeah.
Pennsbury?
Yes.
Has a decision been made or advised schools about tomorrow and Friday yet?
We will be having a discussion with the superintendents, I'm sure, at some point yet today. That has not occurred. What I would tell you is that those discussions are intended to give the superintendents as much information as possible so that they can make an informed decision. At some point, that information also changes, as it did last night, and that necessitated another call. So, we'll provide them an update, and then we will give them anything else that may develop.
Question for the warden: when somebody's sentenced to life in prison, are they treated differently than other people in the facility? Once you've taken everything you can from them, are you more on alert for that person?
So I can tell you that they have the same rights as everybody else, but given this complication what happened, we are certainly going to revisit how we're handling that in the future, as far as one-on-one in the yard versus going out with a bunch of different individuals.
in the tower to join the one that's already in the observation tower?
No, for a point of clarification, we will have one person in the tower and possibly somebody on the ground walking the yard.
Any additional people who are to monitor those video feeds?
So we haven't at this time established who is going to monitor inside specifically video feeds from the yard, but I can tell you we are certainly taking that and revisiting and completely how we're handling all that video visualization to make sure that we're not missing things.
As Deanna mentioned, there was a little bit of commotion that you could see in that video with one of the gentlemen who was shirtless running away from where Cavalcante was climbing up. Do you think that there was a distraction in place at that time to possibly throw off the officer that was in the observation tower?
So I can't comment as to what people were doing or why. I can tell you at that time for recreational activity, there was a basketball net in that area and there was an active basketball game going on, so I'm going to assume at this point that he was involved in that game.
At the time of the escape, how many people were watching the monitors? And how many monitors are there?
For security reasons, I'm not going to develop how many monitors we have and how many people we have viewing it.
Does Cavalcante speak both English and Spanish? Or Portuguese?
Portuguese and some Spanish, very little English.
Very little English. The next follow-up question is, what percentage of inmates at Chester County Prison speak only Portuguese or Spanish or...
I don't have the breakdown of demographics as regards who speaks what language, and because we don't sector them off based on their language or what languages they speak.
Is there a policy on cell phone use when guards are on duty? Are they allowed to have them out? Are they allowed?
There are no cell phones allowed inside the prison area at all.
And as far as we were talking about that dome structure that you guys are planning on, when can we see that actually in place?
So yesterday we actually met with the contractors. It has been going to be forwarded to the commissioners for their review for possible acquisition and installation.
Was it not obvious that that should have been something in place before?
So I really don't want to get into what should have happened prior to without me actually being in charge of that facility. So I can't really question as to why it was or wasn't there.
Had it come up in security assessments previous?
I'm not sure if that's true or not.
That's the warden, by the way. I thought he was the consultation person.
All right. I want to thank you all.
I guess
Again, we appreciate your help in getting this message out, keeping this front and center with the public. We need their support, and we appreciate your role in bringing that support. Thank you.
So, that boy climbed out of that shit backwards, walked backwards up the wall and shit. Where is it at? Somebody said the boy didn't see it. That boy climbed backwards out of that bitch. Put that shit up. Here.
Yeah, the video request.
Yeah, no. That boy climbed backwards. And by the way, we already talked about this last night. I mean, not that we knew the video, but I was reading an article last night for that person that's like, talk about new stuff, blah, blah, blah. We already talked about this shit last night. Maybe they weren't here for last night. That one news article had said that he escaped through the roof. That article, which I also said, according to the article is what I said, they said the previous escape was similar. I saw somebody else say that's not true. Well, it is. They said it in the press conference, okay? Okay. That's why there's so many questions about, well, how the hell did this happen again? I don't know if the other guy climbed the wall like this, but he had some similar type of escape. Look at this shit. What? Ugh. The thing too, does he have something around his waist? Does he have something wrapped around his waist, or what is that? Is that just his shirt hanging from his thing, or? And I guess that's what they were asking, if he's practiced this before. Must have been practicing in his cell. Yeah, he did that shit smooth too. He didn't slip. That's one slip up. Literally, you fall down. Maybe on your face. Wow. And it took them all this time just to say that. Amazing. Amazing, amazing. Same as last dude, yep. Yep. Wow. Oh look, he has a shit in even better quality. Okay, Nick, I see you. How come they didn't show us? Oh, because I guess they were showing us like a thing of a thing. This shit looks even better quality. Nick posted this. So I retweeted too. He was in there in person. Hell nah. So who's this homeboy over here? Oh, so they like zoomed in, so we couldn't really see the other shit. All right, so he could just be chilling there. He could be chilling there. Let's see. Hold on. Oh, he's talking with somebody. And then he left. Hey, it looks like, you know what it looks like too? Cavalcante. That guy looked like he looked directly up at the camera and shit. Like he's already eyeing the shit from when it starts playing. Look at it. He's like looking at it. Look. He's looking like directly at the camera. It looks like that. So they're just allowed to wear whatever clothes they want to? I thought they had like some sort of a dress code. Or go like, yeah, Air Force Ones and shit, a polo shirt, Levi jeans. Bruh. Wow. Incredible, man. Oh, nice. I got some email with the information. Oh. Oh, nice. Also, we got to find out about this thing on the 8th for Rudy Frankie. I don't know if it's streamable or not. We'll have to look into that. Somebody sent me a link, so we'll definitely check that out after. Let me see. I don't know if Nick's live or not. Hell of an update, man. Wow. I don't know, man. I didn't know what to say. That was an interesting press conference. The reporters applied some pressure. They got a lot of questions. This guy, I guess in Brazil, was known for going into the woods and jungles, so he has that kind of experience at least. But they're also saying this dog, one of the dogs last night, had some heat problems, overheating problems. I had to take him to the hospital, I guess. So this guy's even kind of like, because even the reporter at one point is like, "Are you sure you guys are like? You think he's like feeling the pressure, or is he just like blank? This is like regular shit for him. Like he's just like at home or something, you know, walking in the woods and stuff." I mean, at some point, this guy's got to be getting tired because, I mean, he probably can't sleep much. I mean, unless he's sleeping during the day, I imagine that this guy has to be on the move non-stop. Trying to see if there's any other planes in the area. Or helicopters, I mean. Oh, let me take a look. Did we watch this already?
Manhunt continues.
I think I watched this already. Yeah, we did watch that. If the guard was looking another way. Yeah, I mean, he was really quick. So even if you had a guard there, he's not necessarily going to catch something within that time period. You know? Yeah, that's crazy, dude. So this guy escaped jumping into the facility's roof from an exercise yard. So you can see too, like on the side. Let me move myself out of the way. There's like, it looks like a bench press machine. This is the workout area. And the name of the previous guy, what was his name? Bolte something? Something Bolte. They caught him real quick. Bolte, prison escape. I wonder, did they ever release video? They have video of this. Do they have video of Bolte escaping? I don't know if they have video of the other guy escaping Bolte. And this is a max security prison too? That's wild. The exact same way another inmate fled jail just 4 months ago. I mean, yeah, that's what we were literally talking about this last night. It's breaking news now. Well, yeah, I guess he didn't speak English. They say he spoke Spanish and Portuguese. So, I mean, Spanish enough is probably enough to get you through that prison. I don't know about everybody, but it's probably people in there that talk Spanish. P Trek Box says, no, it's not max security. It's a county prison. Oh, well, I was reading from an article. It says it's max prison. Let me see. Let's see. I've seen it referenced several times as a maximum. Chester County Prison. Let's see. It is Chester County Jail. The official website says that, let's see, hold on, let's see what it says here. Chester County, Pennsylvania. The concern and reluctance of both commissioners and architects was to not overbuild prison facilities, but were appreciative of foresight expressed by the judges and their insistence upon the general increase in the number of cells needed. It was decided that the boiler room, kitchen, dining room, and etc. were to be built adequately so they could handle future expansion. It was also decided that the term minimum security was to be dropped because it was adequate with dormitory living areas, and for the times this was not condoned by Pennsylvania Penal Code. This all led up to cells designed for individual confinement with the exception of the infirmary ward. Therefore, the term medium or maximum security was adopted for the Chester County Farms. The prison was comprised of two basic cell types. The first was maximum security unit, which was built with 2 rows of cells back to back with the access chase to the plumbing between the 2 rows, and the 2 rows would have separate corridors so that prisoners cannot see or communicate with each other. The windows for the wing would be high up in the exterior wall away from cells and on the level of upper tier. The second type was a medium security. So I guess it's like a, I don't know, a hybrid, I guess. They're talking about the history of it. I don't know what section this guy was in. At one point, they dropped it from being like a regular to like a medium / maximum. Okay, the second type was a medium security wings, which was to have central corridor with cells on both sides facing each other, and with security windows in each cell on the outside walls. The scheduled construction of the 1959 prison was comprised of 128 medium security cells and 24 maximum security cells, 15 female cells, 14 juvenile, total population of 171. In addition to the general population, there were 2 restraint cells and 2 treatment cells in the maximum security and the maximum security unit for men. Okay. Chester County Prison. I mean, they have a whole website with the history and construction. So, I mean, I don't know where this guy was at, but they're dubbing it medium / maximum. I mean, I see another website that says it's so, I don't know, maybe it's tomatoes kind of shit. There's some websites that reference it as medium, like this one site here, medium security county prison, but there's other ones that say maximum security facility. So medium, maximum, I don't know, 24 maximum as we just read here. So, yeah. Let me see if there's anything else on this. I mean, and whatever it is, honestly, whether it's whatever, the fact that somebody escaped in a similar manner months ago, I guess, right? That should be like, damn, bro. You know? All right. Well, I guess that's it for now for the stream. If you guys could hit the like button, please, I'd appreciate that. We'll see what happens later, because maybe later tonight after I'm settled and the baby's in bed, if Nick is streaming, maybe we can watch some streams of the Manhunt, do some updates. This map is being kept. Oh, this is nice. We got a map. Ooh, maybe we should look at this before we get out of here. Somebody's keeping a map up to date. That's beautiful. Let's take a look at that. We could use that for reference. Yeah, I think maybe tonight we'll come back and chill and see what else is going on with this story. After I get some notifications again. I used up, I don't have one for, I think, a few hours maybe. Check it out. This is dope. What this person did. I don't know who made this. Longwood trail cam. That's what he was seeing. Possible camera. Footprints. Okay. So these are sightings, these orange ones. Okay, let's see. Visual sighting. Number 4. This is all by the Longwoods Gardens area. So these areas, we talked about this last night. A couple hundred people left, but you guys, you'll know me after a while when I'm like, all right, we're done. We'll probably be still going for another 10, 15, 20 minutes or something. But this will be really good for tonight as well. So look at this. What else we got? Confirmed sighting. I mean, he's like in a concentrated area. Sighting. Reported targeted sighting. Wiley. Okay, this is the one we were talking about last night, where the reporter was at. This is yeah, Creek Road and Wiley Terrace. This is one of the reporter last night from Fox 29. He was right at this intersection, and I guess this is where the sighting was at. There was another one by. Let's see, is it here? Oh, I didn't know about this one. White T-shirt. Oh, they found a white T-shirt. Okay, interesting. White t-shirt found. Last confirmed sighting. Police, oh, they were clearing trains. Police clearing trains, okay. Nick the Hat's last live stream. Oh, they even got Nick the Hat in here plugged in. That's the prison. Unconfirmed sighting by Walmart. A man picked up, oh, that's what they mentioned too. A man picked up by car. Okay. Reported suspicious male matching description. Okay. All right, yeah, so we'll take a look at that tonight. This is the Pennsylvania area. Right, Birmingham. We'll take a look at this tonight. We'll see what other updates come. We'll give it a couple hours, right? Leave it for a little bit. Let some updates come. Maybe Fox 29 will be back on tonight. And yeah, I'm gonna go take care of a few things in the meantime. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Also, don't forget that, if you don't know, you may probably people that watch me regularly already know, but if you don't know, check out my lawsuit information. The link is in the description. We're almost to our goal. It's right there. You can just share the link too. That works. That's fine. And you can also, if you're curious to read the documents, there's a Google Drive link with the documents. All right. Thank you guys so much. I will catch you later. Bye. Bloop, 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 bloop.